Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hopsgeeknews, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and typically we feature a beer of the week. We are getting ready this week to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Supernatural. Hard to believe it's been that long, especially considering but Lauren and I both did not start right at the beginning, 2005. We were off on different adventures, doing crazy things. Lauren was in law school. I was, but
I was.
leaving my
That's
freshman
crazy.
year, going into sophomore year of high school. Yeah. So lots of cool things. However, we are going to talk about season 13, just the first few batch of episodes. If you've been following our journey so far, we like to dive into break it down each season because we're not going to talk all 23 episodes. We like to recap the episodes and then kind of go into our thoughts and feelings. So make sure you like, subscribe, share anywhere that you find Hops Geek News on podcast platforms, social media platforms. You'll find us there, and make sure you let us know what your favorite episodes of Supernatural were as well, because this is a big moment. 20 years. We have something special planned. We are going to be doing a live trivia session of Supernatural on the 20th or next Tuesday or
Yeah,
tomorrow,
that'll be a
technically.
Nerd Initiative. And then Wednesday we'll be going live just to celebrate Supernatural. So that's
Yes,
this week. A lot of Supernatural fun going on.
it's a good way to kind of ease into these spooky times, because I'll tell you
It
what, man,
is.
I was in Massachusetts this past weekend. I went to Salem. I showed the kids some cultural aspects, right? I went to all these places as field trips and stuff, but my kids are obsessed with Wednesday Addams. And so I said, let's go see some spooky stuff. So I took them to the witch museums and all that kind of cool things. And it was 73 degrees. The wind was blowing. There was leaves that were being blown in the wind. It felt like fall. And so I'm fully torqued for fall. I'm here. I'm ready. Give me
Doesn't
that
feel like
fall
fall at
weather,
all
man.
here. I
It's
was at
69
Animal Kingdom this morning. It was in the
sweating your
90s.
balls off. Oh God, I'm not
I
looking
am.
forward
I
to
still got my
that.
pumpkin spice latte hot. It was delicious.
Oh, you heathen. Jesus. It was like 52 degrees or something like that when I drove back
That's
yesterday
crazy
from
that it's already so
Massachusetts, and it
cold.
was chilly out. And honestly, man, I was thriving. But of course, I got my pumpkin stuff. But aside from that, I am drinking a Hatchet coffee porter from Boonshine Brewing Company. Have had this a long
Ooh,
time ago, but
moonshine.
yeah, I grabbed it when I was in North Carolina, one of my trips, and I figured that, hey, this was a good, supernatural theme. I got the hatchet. Come on, like this is a cool can and all that kind of. It's a really
Ooh, that would
delicious
have been
coffee.
good for the episode with Amara. What's the lady that killed Lizzie Bourdain?
Oh yeah, Lizzie Borden gave her parents
Borden.
40 whacks, man. Another, yeah, she wasn't married to Anthony Bourdain. Okay, chill.
Oh, is that what I confused them with? Okay.
I don't maybe so. That's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking over there, Lauren? What's a side word? I saw the can.
I'm bringing Brap, but I promise it's relevant this time. So it's a little fish on a motorcycle. In one of the episodes we're talking, Ketch comes back, and of course he takes one of their motorcycles because he likes riding motorcycles. And I have it in my little side word like devil glass because Lucifer is big in these episodes as well as his son Jack. And I
All right,
also have
count
a
it all out.
picture, or I have a sticker on my table of Cass and Dean Cass and Dean wearing their little cowboy hats. And we're going to talk
Okay.
Tombstone, one of the best ones.
Oh, I have not rewatched that yet because I just didn't get to it, but I was wanting to because I'm really excited about that episode.
That's a
Just,
fun
I
one.
love it. I do love it. So yeah, if you're new, we rambled a little bit. Apologies, but we go into what we've been reading or watching first. We go into some news, which you have some good little bit of news today, and then we go into our main topic. You can find the main topic listed, time, all that good stuff, timestamp, right? So going into what we've been reading or watching, Batman from Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. Issue 1 is out. I've read the first 2 issues. Issue 1 is out. I highly recommend it. It's very vibrant. You get to see Batman kind of have a heart to heart with a villain, which is something you never really see. And I thought that was really cool. And it's a very daytime Gotham. So things popped and were very bright for me. It worked for me really well. DC Comics right there. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Issue 4 is out. Brian Buccellato, Christian Deuce, Luis Guerrero, really loving this. Superman goes giant sized. He takes some serum. He goes giant sized. And so they're full of just
Well, that's
crazy good
interesting.
moments where Superman's the size of Godzilla. They're going toe to toe. They're eye beams to, atomic breaths. It is freaking insane. And I
Super
don't know how the
soft
artists do.
Superman.
Yeah. I mean, this is like one of those, like, you have to land the spots when you're doing big matches like this. It's kind of akin to wrestling, and they land the spots so far. This has been such a fun, just shut your mind off. Not really shut your mind off because I feel like that's trashing it, but because I'm very much like engaged, but it's just monsters, big meaty monsters slapping other big meaty monsters. And that's what I want. I want big meaty monster slapping meat. And yeah,
Interesting.
so aside
I
from
think
that,
you know a
last
guy.
DC comic I had was the Cheshire and Cheetah robbed the Justice League #2. This was a very Ocean's 11 vibe. It's, they're assembling their team, man. We're getting the team together. If you love a good heist film or a heist story, this one's for you. This issue freaking rocked. The
Huh.
artwork is so damn gorgeous. Cheetah, you actually really feel bad for her because she doesn't want to be the way she is. And, the god that basically is torturing her makes her feed on certain things, and so she's trying to resist that. She's very much like humanistic. She has a moment with Cheshire's daughter that she calls Slick, and it's really cool. It's great, and you're seeing some characters that you've never really heard of before, but they're putting their team together. It does feel like a heist film, so I cannot recommend that enough. And then from Ghost Machine Image Comics, I did Sisterhood, a Hyde Street story, issue 3. This one was a roller coaster in its own right because
Yeah, it's kind of
Violet,
creepy.
it's creepy, and there's parts where you feel bad for the sorority sisters. For example, the one girl that befriended Violet, and then there's times when you're just, oh yeah, these sisters kind of get what they deserve when they're kicking Sophie down the snowy mountain in a cage,
Right.
for example, right?
But if somebody's
Go
not
ahead.
familiar with this is a very dark comic. Like, you sounds like you're saying sorority sisters and they're being mean. It's like, no, in the first issue, somebody died, but she didn't just disappear. And so now she's there trying to like pull strings as a ghost. So it's very creepy. So don't let
Yeah,
you hear
she's stuck
sorority
in like
sisters.
a mirror world. She has to have
Yeah.
mirrors, and did you see in the artwork when
Yeah. The
one of the
artwork's
tires flew
fantastic
off?
how they do that.
It was,
Yes.
yeah, like the tire flew off, and then you saw the character that's trapped like in that tire rim. I thought that it was those little details that really stick out to me. I
Yeah.
love when they do that. So
Yeah.
good, man.
Part of
And
Hyde Street and the Hyde Street comics. Like, if you want a spooky, creepy comic, I mean, no time better
oh,
than
Hyde Street's so
spooky
good.
season. Like Hyde Street. Yeah. There's something for
Yeah,
everyone with Ghost
this
Machine.
one was Maytel Shoot, and then that team. But Jeff Johns does the main Hyde Street run, and they have all these little spin-off characters that are coming onto Hyde Street. Cannot recommend enough. So those are my comics. Before I kind of get into what I've been watching, why don't you go into your comic books?
So speaking of Ghost Machine, I did the Rockefellers. This is I
Nice.
Rockefellers is my favorite Ghost Machine comic right now.
That's what
I
you've
know
been saying.
there's
It's
I know
still it's still
I
holding up
keep
for you.
saying it. It is still holding up. We're getting it's fun because the flashbacks are in the future because this is a family that's hiding in the year 2025, but they're from the year like 2500. And so they're in the time, I keep wanting to say time variance authority. They are in the time zone witness protection program.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you recently found out that the person who is quote unquote hunting them is a family member that you didn't see coming. So we still don't know the exacts of it, but it's very interesting because we keep learning more and more and more. So we have an idea of why they're running, but it's so cool because why they're running has to do with like futuristic technology, and they go into like the ethical like consequences of using certain futuristic technology, and you just get like a little more each issue, but they're still a family and they're still raising kids and they're still doing these things. So even though like the mom is an astronaut from the 25th century, oh, they're 2400, so they're from the 25th century, and so mom's an astronaut, dad's like an inventor, and they're from the future, but they're still so incredibly relatable because the fact of the matter is raising kids is I believe the kids are little shits no matter
Oh
what
my,
year it is. So
kids are exhausting.
we
Take
got
it
to deal
from
with
somebody
parents,
who,
and
yeah.
all that. Yeah. So that
And
one's
then you're
really
like
good.
time traveling too at that. That's cool. I've only read the first issue, man. I'm so behind on that. And Hornsby and Halo that I should probably buy the trades of those.
Yeah.
Redcoat and High Street are the ones I'm up to date on. Geiger and Rook's getting ready to come back, but
Yeah.
all of those
Rook,
other ones,
I'm up to date on, but they've been gone for a while.
yeah, they're coming back October, so they're getting ready to come back. So now's a good time to probably catch back. I like them all. I just, there's only so much time in a
I
day
know
in
there is
comic
so much.
books too to just read, and I don't
Yeah.
want to take all of the reviews to be greedy, so I can read all these. So
Well, then you
then,
also have to find time to write all the reviews,
well,
which I mean,
exactly, and
sure,
then
it's
I do
fun, but
buy
it's
my
also
comics too.
consuming
Like
work.
the ones I review, I typically do buy as well to support them.
I
But
do as well. And then I have two piles, one of ones I've already read and
yeah,
one of ones I haven't read.
see, it's good because we want to support the comic shops and we want to support the creators. And then I don't know, man. I'm just making excuses now. Which after this, I'll tell you about the comic adventures I had this weekend.
So I also did two Wolverine comics this week. One was Laura Kinney.
Whoa.
She's dealing with getting her sister back. We met, we're dealing with Dracula's son, which is an interesting character I haven't seen.
Ooh,
But
that's a cool
what's really
inclusion.
interesting is how it ended is the same way that Wolverine number 13 ended, where they both had a very like next, and it was the same next. So I'm guessing we're going to see a crossover next month.
Oh,
But Wolverine's still
speaking
really funny.
of,
He was gangster for a day. It was kind of like it seemed like it was a
oh, that's
standalone, but I'm
cool. A
sure
gangster
and it
for
was
a day.
also related to the giant size X-Men that came out a couple of months ago. That
Oh
was like a
yeah.
one-off. So it was connected, but you don't have to be
Riley
attached.
actually was looking for Laura Kinney when we went to the comic shop. We went to Comictopia in downtown Boston, which God, I paid $55 to park, which I'm not mad. It's just like,
Sweet.
woof, my
Good
mistake.
for
It's by Fenway Park over by Kenmore Square. And so like, it was my bad. I knew there was a game. I could have planned better, but I don't care. It was about the hangs and the vibes. That's why I didn't give a shit. But he was looking for Laura Kinney because when you went into the store, like they had everything. It was awesome. They had all the compact books. They had all like Marvel's, like every issue of Unlimited, and they had every issue of the Absolute runs and the trades and just everything lined up. But they didn't have Laura. I didn't see Laura Kinney because Riley said that you suggested it and he's been looking for it.
Yeah, and the
So
trade should be out soon if it's not already.
yeah,
I thought the
we
trade
didn't
came
find
out
any
a
of the
couple weeks ago.
books.
Well,
We just
hopefully
didn't
that's
find
because
it.
it
So
sold out.
yeah, hopefully. But he was looking for that actually. Fun. He took your advice.
Good.
Good little
Good.
child.
I've been
Have you?
really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I also read some Daredevil. I finished the Chip Zdarsky. So I read
Ooh.
20 issues,
Mhm.
and we meet Cole North. So now I understand why everybody was confused about Cole North and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's the same thing with Daredevil, like not being himself and not being Daredevil, and Fisk is mayor, so it goes into all that. But it has a fun, gangster kind of vibe as well.
Yeah.
And Daredevil, one scene was really funny. He's sleeping with Elektra, but he still has his mask on, not his Daredevil mask,
Nice.
his
The
like
mask stays
vigilante,
on,
just
dude.
black and
Yeah.
whitey tighties. That's what he's wearing in the scene.
Okay.
I'm like,
Hey, we
what is
don't kink shame on
happening?
this podcast. Okay. They like,
Ugh.
whatever. What is happening? Elektra has a fetish. Okay. We don't kink
No,
shame.
I think he's still trying to hide his identity from her, and they're sleeping
Oh,
together.
I
That
haven't
was
read
what
that
I
then.
got. I
I
could have
need
been
to know.
wrong and could have read that
Oh,
wrong.
I just assumed she always kind of knew, but I guess that makes sense. Interesting.
They talk about
I got to read
Stick,
it.
like they both were trained by Stick, so I was like, oh, she must know. But then I was like, why is he doing that? And then she kept referring to him as Daredevil, not Matt.
Yeah, they're role
So
playing. Come on.
if
My
anybody's
God.
read it and wants to call me
You
out,
never
please do
roll.
so.
Jeez. Uh,
Because I did read a good
I
chunk of it with a lot of beer on the Mickey boat, so I could be wrong.
I think I actually have a lot of those issues, the single issues in the comic boxes I got. So I need to go through those. I also got a box full of X-Men ones today that I have to go through for you. But I did pick up a trade though this weekend. I picked up Devil's Reign, which is basically Fisk taking out all the heroes, and he's like in charge of New York City. I've never read Devil's Reign, and I know that was kind of a Daredevil Born Again season 1 inspiration, season 2 inspiration. So I need to go. I have to read. I just picked up the trade. It was between that and a couple other ones. They had like all of the good reads, but
Mm,
unfortunately, I couldn't. I wasn't
can't buy
able to
everything.
spend hundreds of dollars right at this time. So I got to bring stuff back and carry it around the city with us because we were walking around. So I did get Harper asked for a Taylor Swift book. Nope, she got. Actually, I want to shout out the guy's name is Matt working behind the thing. I do got to shout out him real quick, Matt at Comictopia, because Harper was looking at the books. Right when you walk into the left, there's kids' books, and she saw Bluey. She was excited, and then she saw Taylor Swift, and I was like, no, what else is there? But the guy came up and he said something was wrong with this specific Bluey book, and they couldn't really, they had to sell it half off or something, and they're waiting for the next shipment to come in. So he goes, she can just have it. And I was like, dude, that's wicked ratty. That was really nice of you to do. Because he didn't have to do that, but he saw her, looking at all the books and really interested in things. I think that's awesome because it's a great way to keep kids engaged, number one, and just, I don't know, it's always exciting when you go to the comic book shop and it's a really nice shop, and then the people in there are cool. And
Yeah.
I know I just love New England, but I
Yeah,
did
you gotta
drive. It
hook
took me
'em in.
13 hours. God dang, it took me 13
They're
hours to drive
crazy.
there. So you know what I did on Thursday, aside from getting rear-ended, was I threw on a couple of movies in the car. So I like to break up my drives. Instead of podcast, I put my phone. I don't
Just
watch.
listen to
First of all,
movies.
disclaimer. Yeah, no, okay. So I disclaimer, I do not watch. I put the kids were watching. I like to listen because in my head, movies help pass time faster than like,
Right, and
typically
if they're
other
movies
things.
you've seen before, then you can still follow
Yeah, I can
along.
listen and still know what's going on. So I watched Thunderbolts with the kids. I put Thunderbolts on. They were kind of into it, and then Oliver was asking about Ava. He's like, Ghost, who is she? All this, and I go, well, she's an Ant-Man and the Wasp. So
Ah.
we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I think I didn't appreciate fully the first time I watched it. Is it a great, perfect film? No, but your boyfriend Walton Goggins was in there.
Oh
I
god.
forgot that.
It's not
I
my
forgot he was in
boyfriend.
it. But I also forgot just how funny it was at the same.
It
It's
is a good
kind of,
movie.
yeah, I enjoyed that one. Okay. Scott's on house arrest still. His family is all about it. I love that his daughter buys time and he doesn't get, outed. And I
Yeah.
love that what's his name? James Park, you know, also is here not just trying to catch him and
You have the
everything like
truth
that.
serum and all that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not truth serum. It sounds like
Oh,
truth
shit,
serum.
it
That
is
whole scene, I
truth
forgot how great
serum,
it
yeah.
was. Yeah. And Luis was, I missed, I think that's another miss that Quantum Mania had was not having Luis in the crew at the same time
Seriously.
because they
Yes.
brought a lot of fun and humor and they also helped out with they should have kept with the heist aspects. They could have heisted something from Kang, I
They kept,
guess.
like, heisting each other. It was like they kept
Yeah.
stealing from each other, but I actually rewatched it before Thunderbolts. I rewatched,
Oh, you did?
yeah, because we did a whole episode on it, remember?
That's right. I really, yeah. And I really, that's an underrated, but I also
Yeah,
put
so
on
it's I mean, I think
Spider-Man.
some of these are just better when you watch them the second time. It's like you watch them without
I
judgment
do.
because you're just going in for pure entertainment.
And it was. I like the Ant-Man movies anyways. I'm a big Paul Rudd guy. I
I
even
mean,
can
who the hell
stand,
isn't? Paul Rudd's
Evangeline
amazing.
Lilly. And I actually think,
He'll always be Josh to
oh
me.
God, what's his name is really good in it too. Why am I blanking on? He's like Michael Douglas.
Red
Jeez,
Guardian?
Louis.
Oh, Michael Douglas.
No, Michael Douglas in Ant-Man
Yeah.
movies. I think he does I love him and Michelle Pfeiffer
Kingston.
together in
He is
those
pretty
movies,
good.
And
Well, they're both
yeah,
phenomenal actors, yeah.
yeah, and but aside from that, I did put on Spider-Man the '90s animated series for Oliver, and we're on season 3 now because we watched it also on the way back, and he was very into it. When Wolverine and Beast and them showed up, there's the saga where Spider-Man is becoming mutated into the big spider, and he meets Wolverine in them because he thinks Professor Xavier can help him, and he's kind of like rude and mean to the mutants. And then we have the
Huh.
Venom saga, and oh yeah,
I
it's
should
kind
watch
of
that with
crazy. It's
Logan.
like the whole mutant thing. It's really good. Yeah, Oliver was
Logan's
super into it.
actually been watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, so we've been going in order. He's almost
Oh,
done with the 3rd one, then we're gonna do Andrew Garfield and then Tom Holland, and I can't wait to see his little mind explode when he sees all 3
all of
Spider-Men
them
in one
together.
scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
And then
That is
next
great.
year, hopefully, he
Brand
will
new
be
day.
able to sit still, yes, and see that in theaters. He saw Across the Spider-Verse in theaters, but that was still animated, and he
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
something he
that.
didn't see at the end. But
Yeah.
it's like, when I bring my kids to their first MCU movie, they are threatened that they are not allowed to use the restroom. They are not allowed to
Sit
talk.
down.
And after Braille made fun of me for crying in Spider-Man,
Guess
they
who
get
gets
threatened to
uninvited?
not make fun of mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Why are
No,
you
that's gonna be
crying?"
awesome. Yeah, you should
Like,
show him these because I
because
think
Tobey Maguire is on the screen.
I Oliver has actually found his love of Transformers recently too, and so the same Transformers movies have been on over. And I swear to God, there's just a script to these Transformers movies. It's
I gave up on
Optimus
them a
Prime and the
while ago.
Autobots get their asses whooped, and then the somehow the humans are helping a lot, and then you got Optimus Prime be like, I am Optimus Prime and Earth is, but he gives his speech, roll credits. It's the same thing over
The
and
first
over. I
one's just
swear to God.
so freaking amazing. They were never able to redo that.
No, yeah, it's is what it is. But before we go to news, anything that you've kind of gotten into on the watching side of the house? I know we're kind
I
of rambling
actually,
about.
funny enough, I just finished an episode or a book called Supernatural Heart of the Dragon. This is the 4th in the
Oh,
series. They are
yeah.
connected to the show. It's actually really good. It was the Keith guy that I met at New York Comic Con. He's done a couple of the other books as well. This one takes place right after Changing Channels, and Cass is in it, but it's really cool because it goes from like Mary and Sam hunting to John hunting and Bobby watching the kids to the boys hunting, and they're all fighting the same monster. It's every 20 years, but it's the monster is correlated to the impending apocalypse where Dean and Sam are supposed to be the
Ooh,
vessels for Michael and Lucifer. I really liked it. If you want more of my thoughts on that, I'm not going to break it all down here. I did do a full-on review for Nerd
book
Initiative, so
club.
you can go to nerdinitiative.com and search a book review. Or you can go to our link tree and
Nice.
click on my name through that. And
You
Dexter
could.
just finished. So good.
Oh,
If you
like
gave up on
over? The season's
Dexter,
over?
the season's over, but I do think they're
How's
going to keep it going because I think that was why they canceled. I
the
heard through
oh
the
yeah,
grapevine. I don't know. The New
yeah.
Blood, they were only going to keep one. So Dexter Resurrection, 10 episodes, season 1. So good. It ended so
Hmm.
good. So I
Well, I hope
and
they don't
they
cancel. Yeah.
ended kind of on a cliffhanger, so they have to keep going. But if you gave up on Dexter, I don't want to say you should definitely go back because I don't know if they're going to end this overall well, but this season was phenomenal.
All right. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, rolling into some news. Marvel Zombies, the trailer is out. Show comes out September 24th. And there's a really cool fight sequence with Blade that's set to the band Baby Metal featuring Poppy. If you're a fan, I know I am. So that's all I needed to know, that I was hooked on these 4 episodes that are getting ready to come out. I cannot wait to see that. And another one that I can't wait to see is Welcome to Derry, also coming out October 26th on HBO Max. That's like a prequel for It. So I'm pretty interested. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. I don't love the It
You sure
movies, but
about
like
that?
I actually have Erica and Brandy literally texting me right now about it. They literally just texted me, "Oh, this date
Oh,
is
really?
confirmed." They both read the book and they both said it was their favorite Stephen King book.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
haven't read it. Maybe I should grab it. Maybe I should read it.
I want to
But
go see The
yeah,
Long Walk. That's about to come out. That one looks really good.
yes, I just finished that book. I
Oh,
can't wait
how
to
did that?
see that.
Was that a great book? Like that's one of
It
the big
was a
things.
good book. Again, I did a full review on Nerd Initiative, but what was interesting about The Long Walk is like it's super creepy. They're literally the whole book is just during this walk, but they keep you fully entertained the whole time. But they don't really tell you why the world is in the state that it is and why these boys are doing this. So I'm hoping they go into that in the movie. But I cannot. Erica just finished the book too, so I would think we're gonna go as soon as the movie comes out.
Did
But yeah, they're
you see
literally
the
texting me right now about Welcome to Derry.
well, did you see the movie theater that like people came in there and they had treadmills and
Yes,
they had to walk? That I actually would be super
I
down
would
for
do
that, to
that.
see how
Yeah,
long I could go. And then like they would ask you, could you imagine getting close to the end of the movie and then you failed and
you
you had
have
to
to
leave?
leave.
Dude,
Well,
I'm getting through on pure spite at that point.
what's crazy though is so in the movie they said you have to maintain 3 miles an hour. That doesn't sound too bad. In the book, it's 4 miles an hour. That's jogging. I'm not a fast runner. That is
I
jogging.
was trying to think in my head how,
That's
because
15
3 miles.
minutes, like
Oh,
a
really?
mile. Yeah, that's
Yeah, because
4 miles an hour is 15 minutes an hour or 15
because
minutes a mile.
3 minutes really doesn't seem that fast, but you try doing that for an extended period of time, and I don't care how fit you are, yeah, you're gonna tire out, like, and you're gonna want to, all that stuff. Do they stop for food? Okay, don't tell me. I'll watch. Okay, I haven't read the book. I need to. Like, now I got a lot of questions. Let's move on. What other news do
They
we
don't
have?
stop. They don't stop.
Dang.
So some other news: the creators of Peaky Blinders, which I haven't watched but I've heard is good, is doing a show on Netflix about the start of Guinness called House of Guinness. That will be out September
With the
25th.
beer?
I intend on watching that. Yeah, with us being a beer
Oh,
podcast, I felt like I
oh,
had to
wait a
share that
second.
news.
So, like, is it kind of a mob show about how the beer started? Is it kind of like that? Is it like Yellowstone, but Netflix's
I hope
version
it
of
might be.
Guinness?
I hope so. I'm really interested because like the history of like Guinness, like, I've
I'm
looked
pretty
into the history
intrigued now.
before when we did beer schools back in the day during COVID. And I've even like sat on with Girls Pine Out and like listened to somebody who works at Guinness talk about Guinness and the history. And so I'm really excited for
Ooh,
that. I'm sure it'll
okay.
be like historical fiction.
I'm into that. I can
Kirkman
get
has
down.
said Invincible season 4 is wrapping up. The animation should be out early 2026, but of course it's Prime. We don't have a set date yet.
I know that always drives me nuts. Just
I have
like
to
this
take
does.
these.
Star Wars, Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. Allegedly, it's filming. There was a picture that's been shared. Now, I'm not sure I believe any Star Wars film is filming until even the credits are rolling in the theater, just because I've been burned so many times from Star Wars. But I will say I am cautiously optimistic and excited because of the cast. And I really just want some more Star Wars, man. Like I do. This one,
Everyone seemed very excited about the picture.
yeah, I mean, it's Ryan Gosling. First of all, I could watch him read the Bible. And the fact that
I
he's going to be in a
just
Star
want
Wars movie, yes. I am excited for Screenboat, which is coming to Peacock September 12th. Yes, we're doing an episode. However, also our patrons, that's like a high demand for the patrons that want to watch together, like that movie they want to watch together. So I think we'll be watching it as well with them. So we'll probably watch it first ourselves and then probably watch it together there. We'll figure that out. Yeah, we got to figure out anyways for some spooky stuff. But aside from that, I'm not sure how I feel about serial killer movies, on true stories, but Monster, the Ed Gein story is coming out on Netflix October 3rd.
Wait, that's
The
a real one?
Ed Gein? Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I
He's
didn't know that, or I wouldn't have put that in there. It said it saw it come up, and it said it was before Silence of the Lambs. So I thought it was a prequel to Silence of the Lambs.
no,
No,
he
I
was like,
don't like real serial killer stuff. I
yeah,
like
he
my
wore like
serial
clown stuff.
killers
Ed
from
Gein's
Miami.
pretty jacked up, man. Like his stuff's pretty like true crime on that. True crime podcast, that one. He's pretty jacked up.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, that's how
It's
much I know about true crime. Okay, delete, delete.
all right. Well, so why don't
Why
you
did
take
it
us
say
to some
before
brighter
Silence of the
news?
Lambs? Okay, just a reminder: Thunderbolts is on Disney Plus now. If you haven't seen it or you want to watch it again, Knight Rider is apparently coming back in movie form. This is from the people
Really?
who did Cobra Kai. When we know more, we will let you know more. But Knight Rider made a cameo in Supernatural. Remember when Baby was Knight Rider?
Yeah.
Well, Sam was Knight Rider. I don't
Okay.
know. And then Matt Smith says that House of the Dragon is almost done filming season 3, and Percy Jackson season 2 out December
Okay, I'm
10th,
pumped
and 3
for
is in
Percy Jackson.
production.
Thank you. That's how it should be done, Amazon, especially because they're kids. So you got to actually kind of move faster. Stranger Things.
I know
Also,
those
side note,
kids are so grown.
I do have one. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown just adopted a kid. So there's that. But I will say this as well. One last piece of news. The Bath and Body Works, if you're like me and love fall candles, they are, I believe now out now is their Disney Villains line. I don't know what they smell like. I went to the store today because I was told they were out now. And I went there as Lauren's looking at Ed Gain. And he's the butcher of Plainfield. But yeah, the Disney candles weren't there yet. So I'm hoping to go this weekend and get some Disney Villains candles. But yes,
What
Ed
are they
Gein
going to
very much
smell
will.
like? Is
I
Cruella
don't
going to
know.
smell like dead puppies? Oh,
Listen,
maybe Ursula will smell like the ocean.
I'm about to toast my dogs. They've been acting crazy, and then my sister's dog was about to.
In
My sister's
response
dog
to
is about to
one
get
of
the
the
Anchorman treatment.
Oh, geez. The Jack Black Anchorman treatment. No, somebody said in
Absolutely.
response to Snoop Dogg being like, getting upset about the whole like the gay couple in Buzz Lightyear. Somebody's like, look, gay people in movies aren't gonna make your kids gay. Like, I never gave anybody a poisoned apple and like tried to kill them. Like, that's
Also
not how
true.
that works.
Yeah, that's not how any of this works. Ah, brother. Well, speaking of supernatural, never made me go out and do demon hunting. Although sometimes my children act like demons.
You
Haven't
do wear
exercised any
flannels
demons, but
now.
we are going to take a quick. That's true.
Didn't used to wear
I don't.
flannel.
Oh, you. I thought you said me. I was like, what are you talking about? I've
I
always
said we
worn
do
flannel.
wear
Anyway,
flannels.
you're right. So, all right. Quick break. Be right back. Supernatural. Goober. Season 13, Part 1, Episodes 1 through 7, kicking it off with Episode 1, Lost and Found. Jack looks at Sam and says, Papa, Papa. Meanwhile, Dean
Father?
stares at a dead Castiel and then walks inside
Aw.
of the house where he sees Jack and shoots. Jax gets kind of crazy. You know, he goes all super powered on them. He's got them in the air, throws them across the room. How they are able to function at all with the amount of times they've been put through furniture, walls, and everything, beyond me. Anyways, Jack continues to look for his papa and ends up at Pirate Pete's Jolly Treats. Yes, he is naked running around town. One of the teen employees has a mom sheriff, so he gives her a call because, again, Jack is booty naked out there. He run around,
Very
cheeks and everything in
naked.
the wind. So some angels show up.
In
They're
his
looking for
birthday
Jack.
suit.
That's right. And they find a dead Castiel. The sheriff mom gets Jack some clothes, tries to help him out, and that's when Jack tells her he's looking for his father. Sam tracks down Jack after stopping at the pirate spot, which those two teenagers hilarious. While Sam calls the sheriff, Dean punches and prays to Chuck, punches a bunch of stuff. And then he prays to Chuck to bring Cass back, his mom, and Crowley. Yes, we do get a mention of Crowley because that was my biggest
I
pet peeve when
love
it
that
first started.
he's like, even Crowley. I love that he mentioned Crowley.
Well, it's honestly, Dean shows some real emotion in that scene too. He's just out there and he's having that breakdown by himself. And it's not something you really see often with Dean because he's always the stoic. He's the older brother. He's got to be tough.
He
And so I
suppresses a
really
lot of
loved Jensen.
emotions.
And yeah, I really liked the energy Jensen was bringing to that scene and then the start of this season in general. And back at the station, though, the electricity starts to sparkle, which because Jack is getting candy out of the vending machine. He really likes nougat. And he's
It's
very hungry
precious.
as well. He's just very
Of course he
hungry.
is. Babies start nursing as soon as they're born.
I mean, the guy came out and grew to be like a grown ass man right away. So he's pretty hungry. You know, those growing pains, you got to feed. All right. Come on. Jack gets a headache, accidentally tosses the sheriff across the room, which is when Dean walks in, and then Sam tases him. Dean then tells the sheriff the actual truth. As Jack wakes up in a cell next to Sam, Jack explains when he gets scared, things kind of just happen. He then explains that he's looking for Cass, not Lucifer, because Kelly said Cass would keep him safe. Sam then tells Dean that Jack is just a kid, and they need him to open the portal again to get their mom. This is when angels show up. They want Jack, of course, because he's Satan's baby. Jack gets another headache because it's angel radio. Sam blasts some of the angels away. Anyways, I just started blasting angels. The only angel standing stabs Jack with the angel blade. Sam stabs the angel, and then Jack just pulls the angel blade out like it's nothing, says, not today, sucker.
He
Dean
just
still
looks
thinks
so
Jack is pure
confused. He's
evil.
like, "What's in me?" I mean, it was
Yeah,
literally
he's like,
like an infant, like
he
pulling,
throws
like,
his
"Why are you
shoe
putting clothes on me?" Or
foolishly.
be like an infant pulling their headband off. Like, why is this on my head?
Yeah, no, he's very innocent, right? And Dean thinks Jack's still evil. They bring him home so they can keep an eye on him. Now, back at the cabin, Jack says his goodbyes to his mom as Dean wraps up Castiel and they give him a good old vampire, Viking pyre, Hunter's goodbye. As they say goodbye to Cass, Kelly, Crowley, and their mom, Dean, is most certain that Lucifer killed Mary because they're in this other world, which then we cut to actually. Mary's still very much alive with a very snarky Lucifer. Cut.
Man, when isn't he snarky?
Okay, but I actually was loving the energy he was bringing in this apocalypse world. It's very sarcastic, and I was all about it, especially because it was to Mary, because I
She
hate you,
deserves
Mary,
it.
very
We all
much so.
hate Mary.
She's just so selfish. I feel like if half of her selfish acts she didn't do, everything wouldn't be so bad. All right.
I feel like if she
But
had
anyway,
died doing that, I feel like that would have been redeeming. If she had died like she said, "I love you," she took a note from Kelly.
they
Kelly's
should have
like,
done that.
"Yeah, wouldn't you do anything for your boy?" She said, "I love you," and she punched Lucifer. And I think that they would have needed to see her die though, or they would have never given up. But that would have
Yeah.
been a great redeeming thing. Instead, they had to bring her back and have her
Oh,
cause
they
all
really drug it
her
out,
death
man.
cause all the drama. And yeah, we'll get to that in later seasons. But did you
Drama.
recognize the kid at the pirate place? Not the kid whose mom was a sheriff, the other kid.
I don't think so.
Did you ever watch Bad Santa?
Yeah. Oh, the fat kid. That was
Yeah,
him.
that's him. That's Thurman Merman.
I don't think. Oh my god, I'm so tired of seeing Billy Bob Thornton in those T-Mobile commercials. Speaking of, it's like how far the mighty have fallen.
Hmm.
They're awful. Just so you know. Yeah. Okay. So
So some
wow.
fun facts. This is the first time we see Sam actually kill an angel. And so this line, so this came from IMDb. I don't know if this was intentional or not. If it was intentional, it is kind of
Okay.
interesting.
I'm in.
So there's a line that says, it's the kid whose mom is a sheriff. He's
Mm-hmm.
fired me like 7 times and I keep coming back. They're claiming it's a nod to how many times Castiel has died. He died in Lucifer Rising, Swan Song, Meet the New Boss, Hello Cruel World, What's Up Tiger Mommy, I'm No Angel, and all along the Watchtower. Maybe, maybe
Interesting.
not.
I mean,
There
I feel like that's too many coincidences, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's, like, pushing it, but you know what? If that was intentional, then, that's a cute nod, I suppose. But I didn't try to fact check that anywhere. I was just kinda like, "Alright, I'll take it." It was actually on the Supernatural Wiki and on IMDb. Another fun fact is when Dean is wrapping up Cass and he's very sad, there is an outtake of him giving Misha a what do you call it? A nut shot or something?
Oh yeah. What's the capital of Thailand? Bangkok.
There you go. And you see, like, all of a sudden, like, because Misha's sitting there fully still, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh," and he curls up.
That's just dudes being bros, all right? That's just dudes being
Dude,
bros right there. That's
touching each other's junk is just
oh,
dudes
it's
being
not.
dudes.
Listen, all right, okay, all right. To be fair though, like if you're not doing that with your guy friends, there's something wrong with you. All right, okay, that's all I gotta say. If you're not out there nut punching each other, doing weird stuff, like if come on,
I will say though, like they have this outtake of them being silly and him not punching him, and then you see Dean never having looked so broken as when they're
I
bringing
know, right?
Cass and Kelly.
That was such an emotional scene too, and it's like, hold on, how did we go from nut punches to look, actors, man, that's acting. I'm an
And
actor.
I mean, he can't even say that Cass is gone. He's like, "Mom's gone, Crowley's gone," or he said, "Crowley's dead, Mom's gone," and he's like,
Which
he can't.
is telling, right? Because he can say mom's gone, but he couldn't even get Cass's name out, which just shows how
No.
much he means. Man, he's a little puppy baby. But Jack is very school shooter vibes in this episode, so I kind of see where Dean's
Aw.
coming from. Look,
Okay, I don't like that because Dean's shooting now and asking questions later, and like he had this whole
does Dean kind
evolution
of get a little off the
of
rails?
no
You're right.
longer doing that, and now he just straight up just shoots him with a regular gun. He didn't even have the Colt.
Okay, he's grieving. Okay, the man's going through it.
Oy, oy, oy. All right,
I don't
episode
know.
2, The
All
Rising
right, what
Sun.
happens in the Rising Sun?
We meet Asmodeus, the fourth prince of hell. He tells the
Oh,
demons he will
KFC.
rule until Lucifer returns with his son. Then he kills the Crowley followers and tells the demons Jack is not an infant. They need to find him. He is going to be grown. And they need to find Lucifer too. Asmodeus then tells the demons he wants to pull hell's most savage out of hell. And Jack can help with that. So that's why he needs Jack. However, he also mentions Lucifer scarred his face for disobeying him. And he is now Lucifer's to command, but then he doesn't seem, well, yeah. So in Apocalypse World, Lucifer has kept Mary
Yeah.
alive so he can later trade her for Jack. Suddenly, Mary vanishes. Lucifer finds her because he saves her from a creepy human who's about to do some not consensual things to her. But
Yeah.
then he tortures her a bit to insist they stay together. They then run into angels who Lucifer snaps away, and then we meet Otherworld Michael, who is also A-Train's brother. So the boys get a hotel for some sleep, and Dean hands Jack a Bible to read. As the boys eat, Jack starts to mimic Dean, just like a child would do to their parent. They ask him if he can teleport. He doesn't understand. They're like, if you want to be somewhere else, can you go? And he he opens the door and walks out of the door. And he's like that? It's adorable. And they ask if Lucifer ever reached out to him, which makes Jack actually feel uneasy. He has like a memory of Lucifer. A still soulless Donatello suddenly shows up. He explains he's navigating not having a soul by asking himself in any moral conflict, what would Mr. Rogers do? Something we should all do, rather referring to Steve Rogers or
No
Mr.
kidding.
Rogers.
Yeah.
He then tells them he's there because he felt a huge wave of power a few days ago, and it's here. Then he looks at Jack. He says he can see waves of power coming off of Jack, but it's not dark or toxic like he saw on Lucifer. They then take Jack to get an anti-possession tattoo, which doesn't work out so well. He causes a guy to fly across the room, and then once the guy finishes the tattoo, it suddenly vanishes. So then Donatello, Dean, and Cass argue about whether or not Jack is good.
Freaking Donatello, man. That guy is such a goober. I swear to God.
He is a goober.
I
Now
love
he's
him.
a goober without a soul.
Yeah, I love Donatello, but he is so like, I don't know, he almost comes off as a cartoon character to me during his beginnings. He's just so cartoonish, but it's not a bad thing. I don't mean that by a bad thing. He's just
when we first meet him, it's
goofy.
hilarious though, because he's like, "But I'm an atheist." They're like, "Not anymore."
Yeah.
But they're arguing in front of Jack, so Jack can hear them arguing about him and talking the whole nature versus nurture and how to raise this kid. So Asmodeus then pretends to be Donatello and takes Jack.
Oh yeah.
The boys figure out he's been taken, and then Donnie suddenly feels Jack, and then some demons show up. They kill the demons, and then they follow Donatello to Jack. So Donatello's like, "Go that way, go that way." You can still, trace his signatures
To
of
a
power.
field where he's trying to reach Satan or hell.
It's creepy. This is, I think, one of the creepiest things.
Another thing with Donatello there is his acting was pretty solid because he's goofy, and then he gets really, as Asmodeus is over here possessing him, it's very much do it now, try harder, boy, and it's just this is a little uncomfortable.
So Asmodeus, as Donatello, convinces Jack to open up the part of hell with the most savage of demons, but fake Donatello says it's the Shadim are actually God's soldiers that were sent to hell. So he's telling him, like, you're doing good work. These are good people that were just, sent to hell, and we need to free them. So obviously it's Asmodeus, who then makes Dean, Sam, and Donatello start to choke. Jack stops the demon and saves the boys and Donatello, and he tells them, like, those are my friends. But Dean still doesn't trust Jack. Now, back at the bunker, Dean catches Jack stabbing himself. Jack asks Dean, what the hell am I? Because Dean's like, what the hell, man? He's like, exactly, what the hell am I? He then tells Dean he will end up hurting somebody. Dean tells him Sam thinks he can be saved, but Dean doesn't.
Somebody save. Okay, but that is really messed up.
He has to die that he'll do it. So he tells Jack, like, look, if you go dark side, I'm going to be the one to kill you.
That was okay. That has like a really because Sam doesn't know this at the time, and Dean saying that is kind of, I get it. Again, my man, I get you're grieving. This is the son of Satan, but
I get that you're grieving, and this is the son of Satan. You suddenly make Dean more reasonable, but really, no, he's being mean.
He's being really messed up, especially when I wanted to really touch on that nature versus nurture thing because, in real life, it's all about how you're brought up, and it's kind of that self-fulfilling prophecy in a way too. If you continuously be told you're one way, you're going to believe that you are that way. And so you're going to fulfill that you are that way. And it's like, Dean, after everything you've done, after everything you've seen, after what this kid's shown you, number one, number two, talking right off the rip about Cass, right? And how he wasn't even talking about Lucifer. It was right about Cass. And it's, dude, what, like, Dean, come on, man. Take your anger on a wall, Kyle. Like, God dang it, man.
Yeah, I don't like it. I never like when he's mean to Jack. Even when Jack loses his soul, I
No,
don't like it.
because he's like a small child. He is a small child, not like a small child. Like, mentally, he is a small child. And
like
so there's that there's that aspect to it as well, where you're just like, dude, this is not okay, Dean. You're not being a very good dad right now, first and foremost. So we kind of should chill, but
he hasn't taken over the fatherly role just yet.
You do raise a good point, though. Why did Kelly's hand burn when she touched the Bible, but Jack's didn't?
That always bothered me. And I thought, okay, maybe because when he was first created, he was more Lucifer than Kelly, and then Kelly's influence took over, maybe.
I guess.
I don't know. But that always that always rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, I don't know. Because maybe because he's got that Cass influence in him.
Maybe. But he seemed like Kelly knew he was good before
Yeah,
Cass knew
of
he was good.
course. That's her baby, okay?
Maybe it was just because it was the first trimester. First trimester's hell.
Oh, I mean, that's what, yeah. And then by the third, you're just ready to be done. But yeah, that's fair. So, all right. Episode 3, patience. Speaking of the first trimester's hell, it's all about patience. So, Missouri is back. A man goes to a psychic, which is actually a wraith, killing the psychic. Oh, she was such a sweet lady, too, by the way. Really loved
Yeah.
this character. As I'm just
Well,
uncomfortable
and
because I'm
she,
hot,
we met
so
her in
don't mind me.
season 1, and she
We
was
did.
supposed to come back, but the actress couldn't come back, and that's how we got Bobby.
Oh, ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, back at the bunker, Dean's just pounding beers, man, while Sam shows Jack the video Kelly made him. Missouri calls Sam asking for help, to which Sam sends Jody to help so they can stay with Jack. This is when Dean decides to leave to help Missouri and Jody because, hey, we got to help her, man. You know, all that kind
He
of good
doesn't
stuff.
want to stay at the bunker with Damien.
I'm actually cool with this because Dean needed to get out of there.
Yes.
Let Sam do his thing. Here's the nurturing one. Let
He
Dean
needed to
get out
go
of there,
stab
right?
something.
Now, Missouri figures out that the wraith is feeding on psychics, then gets a vision of her son, who is, dead. Not dead yet, but a vision of her son being dead. Now, we learn her son cut her out, but she knows the wraith is coming after her son and granddaughter, Patience, which I'm going to be honest, that name kind of just drove, I hate it. Never mind. I don't know why. It's naming your kid Patience. I don't know. That's just one of those,
Her
like,
name's
okay.
Missouri. That's an interesting one, too.
I know, man. It's all fake and made up. She sends Dean to help them. However, Missouri is then killed by the Wraith in a very cool, like, you're not going to get me screaming. He goes, that's less fun. What the heck?
I know
And
he wants that
yeah,
adrenaline pumping because he likes
kind
the
of,
psychics because their brains taste better. If anybody doesn't remember a Wraith, we met a Wraith at the psych ward. And remember
yeah,
when the pudding episode, and she's like,
yes,
crazy brains taste better. So apparently psychic brains do too.
apparently
So if you
so.
want to avoid a Wraith, have an average brain.
Good news. I have nothing going on upstairs. So there you go. Now, Patience is at school talking with a friend, which there's blood on the dance floor. It was a nightmare. Maybe Dean learns about Missouri on the news, so now he feels even more determined to save her family. Dean then tells her son that she's dead because he goes, blah, 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 go away, leave me alone. Which we cut to Patience reliving her nightmare in real life, and she sees a glimpse of her dead grandmother. The Wraith shows up. Patience breaks his little stabby thing.
Which was
Uh,
creepy.
that scene
The
was
thing
kind of
that like if it
slightly
like comes out
uncomfortable.
of their
Yeah,
wrist.
like the whole thing because they like eat and feed, but she like snapped it in half, and I don't know, something about that just felt like, ooh,
You know those things, what do you call them, that like sticks with have like hazelnut inside of them that you're supposed to dip in your coffee? I feel like that's what it
oh
reminded
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah,
of.
I know what you're
Like it
talking about.
cracked, like it seemed
It did
so
sound kind of
fragile.
like that. It was just like, yeah, fragile, which is interesting
Ooh, it was
considering.
also like when Sabretooth breaks Wolverine's bone claws in Wolverine Origins. But that's probably a better
Yeah,
description than the things you can dip in your coffee.
all right,
'Cause
there
it
you
was,
go.
yeah, I don't know.
But Dean shows up, chases him around, no luck. Jody then tells Patience that she stalks that the Wraith, stalks psychics, to which Patience doesn't think that she is one. She then says that Missouri was a fake and abandoned them, to which Dean says that is not the Missouri he knows. Patience confronts her dad, who turns out, hey, lying. Missouri didn't abandon them. He was
She
mad
would
because Missouri
never.
said his wife would not die from cancer, and then she ended up dying from cancer. So then he tells Patience that Missouri thought she had the gift, to which Patience tells her dad that
Fake.
the dream last night came true. You a liar. As
Mm.
Patient packs her bags, the Wraithen is in her room and grabs her, which if his thing is broken, how is he going to like eat, feed,
I
whatever?
guess just like Wolverine, he must heal pretty quick.
Yeah, I guess
Maybe
so.
he has him in both wrists.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Oh, he's kind of like Baraka from
Ambidext
Mortal Kombat.
ambidextrous. How do you say that?
Ambidextrous, yes.
Ambidextrous.
James tracks her down with magic. Patience is tied up, and she then sees the Wraith kill everybody, but then they show up for realsies, guides everybody to not die, which I thought was really cool. Dean then kills the Wraith. The grieving Dean tells Patience that hunting is nothing but sadness and she should live a normal life. However,
Dean's
Jody,
going
though,
through it,
tells
man.
Patience to follow what she wants. Yeah, again, I get it. Meanwhile, Sam, who has been at the bunker with Jack, tries to get him to learn how to use his powers. They try to move a pencil, getting nowhere. Jack's getting really frustrated, so then Sam reads a book about raising gifted kids. Jack is very much struggling with thinking he's evil, and he tells Sam that Dean said he would kill him if he had to, which Sam tries to tell him that things he's done when people got hurt were not his fault. Very much true. Jack then asks why Sam is helping him, and he explains that he knows what it's like to have a darkness aside of him, and Dean and Cass and his family helped him through it. Dean comes home and asks if Jack has, hey, he's gone dark side yet? To which Sam tells him that Jack is messed up because Dean is over here saying, I'm going to kill you. Like, Hello,
Not cool, Dean.
hello, alcoholic father. You're being your own dad right now, who was not
He's
a very
been
good
drunk
dad.
since he
Okay?
was born.
Like, I'm just saying, okay. Yeah, they two then argue. Sam says Dean saved him when he was drinking demon blood, and now they need to
Which
save
is a
Jack
great
again.
point. He's even
Thank
like,
you.
"Dad told you to put a bullet in me," and he's like, "That was different." I don't think that it
I
was.
don't think it was at all. No, it really wasn't because again, Dean was also a demon. Okay, and Sam stuck it through and saved him
I
instead
didn't
of
even
killing.
think of that. Sam should have brought that up. Like, we saved you when you were a
Sam
demon.
Sam's locked in. He's
Mm.
making a lot of sense right now. All right. And I'm just saying, Sam may have his faults, but the man, he's
Come on,
right
Dean's
here.
been a vampire. He's been a demon, and Sam brought him back. Yeah, Sam was addicted to
Sam
demon blood and
Sam stuck by
had
him
no
through his
soul.
yes. He was still looking for, Dean when he got sent down to hell as well. And then yeah, Sam had no soul and Dean was there and it's not different.
He
It's really
got his
not.
soul back.
Dean ends up screaming that he can't look at the kid without thinking of Castiel and what Jack promised Cass.
So he's
Jack's over,
projecting.
yeah, he's overhearing. Jack overhearing says Castiel. His eyes then light up, to which we then see our first shot of the empty, to which Cass is there, which I thought was pretty cool. Fuck, come on, Dean, dude. Like, I just cannot tell you how much I was. What I'm aligning with, which I actually, upon rewatch, have found myself liking Sam more the second time around. The first time, I'm like, Sam has his
Interesting.
moments, but I never was like, Sam guy. But the second time around, I'm just, you know, maybe I was too harsh on Sam.
So I was more Sam my first watch at the beginning. And then as the show progressed, I went Dean. And then when I went to rewatch, I was like, oh, 100% Dean. Sam gets whiny. But Sam is
he,
making good points now. Yes.
he is. Sam's very much in the right. Maybe I just have rose colored glasses right now because Sam's make a lot of sense in this time. But
I
I
think
don't know. I'm
with
not.
this scenario with Jack, he 100% does. And I feel like Dean's grief for losing Cass, I think is
Again,
clouding
Dean,
that.
your feelings are
But
valid. But
I
come on,
do
bro.
feel like Dean tends to be a more empathetic character than Sam. I think somebody actually, I think, commented that recently on one of our posts. And I was like, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think you're dead on because you see Dean feel things more. Sam may be able
Good
to
point.
nod his head and show more compassion, but Dean feels more guilt for not saving everybody. And Sam does say that. He's like, because Dean feels responsible for everybody. And if you hurt anybody, he's going to feel like
Oh, that's a
that's
really good
on
point. Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. I didn't
But
think about it like that, I guess.
still, he's not being very nice.
No, not oh god. What
So
what do you got for fun facts over here though?
so one of the fun facts, when Sam first goes to show Jack the video of Kelly, in real life, on the first take, Jared instead pulled a laptop up to show Alex porn. So that was the first thing he was seeing when he lifted the thing. They tortured this poor kid
They really
relentlessly. He showed up in the last couple of years and they just were like so mean to him.
I
There's
do
great
I do
outtakes
like
of that.
seeing the outtakes, and then I love like his Comic-Con discussions of just like, man, I was hazed.
Yeah. Well, and then I heard Alex in one interview say that they had like gone out to dinner and Jared's like, it's so hard to go back and forth between their real names and their fictional names. Jared's like, I'm gonna pay for dinner, don't worry. And then he literally got scissors and cut Alex's credit card. And he's like, so he was no longer hazing me as an actor, he's hazing my real life because he just cut my credit card in half.
That okay, you do kind of go a little far with cutting a man's credit card because that takes a while to come back in the mail, dude.
I guess he
You
messed with
couldn't
Mark
pay the
Shepard
phone.
once and Mark Shepard shut it the down. He was not
I could see
having it.
that.
So another fun fact: Patience and her dad actually play cousins in Letterkenny, and the dad has actually played a demon before
Oh,
back in season 3. My last fun fact
okay,
is the
sure.
book Sam is reading while he's giving Jack a break is called, quote, The Drama of the Gifted Child. So this is actually written by a Holocaust survivor and
Ooh,
psychoanalyst, Alice Miller. But what's very interesting is the book is about a dysfunctional family dynamics and the resulting emotional abuse inflicted on the sensitive child who is aware that the relationships they have with their parents or who's raising them are not normal, but still must learn to find a way in this world without the guidance that normal kids would usually get from parents. So
interesting.
it was a spot on perfect book for Sam to be reading.
All right. I love Papa Sam. It's all the more reason why he should have been married with babies, beautiful little babies with Eileen. Okay.
He was.
I said what I said. So speaking
He
of,
did.
he
He married
was, take us
Eileen.
to the
The
big empty.
blurry
Come
lady
on,
was Eileen.
Eileen.
Episode 4, The Big Empty. So, a guy comes home to see his dead wife alive. who then kills him, and she walks away.
Awkward.
Dean stumbles upon the case, and Sam says, "Let's bring Jack on the case." Sam goes to get Jack, who is watching Clone Wars. Turns out Jack likes Ahsoka, even though he can't say her name right, and he hates Anakin. So a hunting they will go. Jack is eager to
How
learn.
do you hate Jack after that, Dean, huh?
What he did say Ahsoka. I don't remember what he said. He's like Ahsoka. I don't know. He said it weird. So Dean has him dig up the dead wife's grave. Her body is there, so not a revenant, but also no EMF. And this is actually cute because Jack is like, "What's a revenant?" So he learns about a zombie.
Yeah, he's very excited to learn.
Yes, but
It's a hunting trip.
They for like episodes, quite a few episodes, like he's all about zombies. He wants everything to be a zombie.
Yeah.
And so I remember when he finally
Because
gets
he's a
zombie,
child who gets like hyper fixated.
yeah. And I remember when he finally gets a zombie, and Dean's like, "I think you're about to get your zombie, kid." All right. So then we see a lady with a blown out tire, and suddenly her dead child is alive in the back seat, and he kills her. The
That's
two victims
traumatizing.
have a grief therapist in common. So the boys go to the therapist and they tell her that they just lost their mom. So while they're supposed to be undercover, they're really 100% getting therapized.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's a word. Well, it didn't say
It
it's
is
not
now.
a word. I think it is. So Stam storms out.
Boom. Therapized.
He's legit like angry storms out, but then he sneaks around and he finds out she's a shifter. So while the therapist tells Dean he's angry and aiming it at everyone, and that she's looking at Jack and she's like, "He is scared of you." Sam suddenly busts in with a gun and yells, "She's a shifter." She tells him she's never killed anyone. She then tells them that she shifts into people that her patients have lost, so the patients can say goodbye because we're hardwired for closure. She gives them her alibis for the deaths, which they follow up and say, yeah, she's good. And it turns out she thinks it's her ex. So Dean and Jack go off, and Sam and the therapist go through security footage. They see some flared eyes. They figure out who it is. So Sam then takes off. Then Jack asks the therapist to be his mom. So she does. So we get a very sweet scene with Jack and fake Kelly. And it's very cute because he's, he's like, they think I'm a monster. And she tells him it doesn't matter what he is. It matters what he does. And obviously that's coming from her heart because she is a monster. And she says, even monsters
but what I
do in
do
this world,
that defines me.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the shifter gets Dean. Oh my gosh. Then knocks out Jack as Dean. What? Yes, that's right. He's the shifter. Then
He's
turns
pretending
into
to be.
yeah.
Come on, catch up.
So I know. I'm like, I just watched this too. The bad shifter goes to shoot Sam, and Jack, who's half awake. Dean's like, "Come on, Jack. Come on, you got this." He's like, I can't. He's half awake.
Wake up.
The shifter goes
Jack.
to shoot Sam,
Jack, wake up.
And then he stops the bullet right there. He saves Sammy's life. Then Sam kills the shifter. Back home, Dean tells Jack, "You did good today, kid." And Jack smiles.
I remember the first time. No, I don't. My dad never told me he was proud of me. But if I did, I imagine I'd be like Jack.
So what happens in the empty?
Well, poor Cass is awake in the empty, yelling, "Hello!" He then meets the empty who looks like him. The empty tells Cass that all of the dead angels and demons come here, and then he gets angry that Cass is awake because it woke him up. I was sleeping. I hate getting woken up, man. The empty tells him to think hard.
Sleep.
Yeah. The empty tells him to think hard about who the hell pulled him awake as Cass yells to release me. The empty is mad. Woo boy. We then end the episode with Castiel waking up in a field. They really love just coming back from hell in a field, waking up from the empty in a field. To go.
Well, because that's where they spread their ashes or burn them or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So that's why they're coming back to there. There's something in the script. I should look that up one day where it says something like he came to and like near a windmill or something. Because there's some people that get like script. I'm not sure exactly, but I guess some people will find the script.
Eat the windmill.
And so then with the script, you get more of like what the writer's intention was with the actor. I don't know what you're saying. You're gonna eat a windmill?
You're saying windmill, so you makes it sound like you're saying
windmill.
You're saying MEAL, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna eat this windmill."
Windmill. Like
I know. I'm just being a goober.
What was it? I used to say Munster.
It's Munsters.
And then
Munster cheese and a windmill.
Like,
we're putting some Munster cheese on that windmill.
So the therapist was also a psychic in The Mentalists.
Oh, interesting. Never seen that show.
No, in the episode The Mentalists. The one where
they do love reusing actors. Vancouver, small city after all. It's like the BBC network where they just reuse everybody.
Yeah, I think every Vancouver actor.
Which, speaking of, Billie Piper is in Wednesday season 2, and she looks vastly different. Like, she looks somewhat attractive now. I never thought. Okay, that sounded mean. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, never mind. That just sounded.
Well, mean. The 10th Doctor definitely found her attractive.
let's go into advanced thanatology in episode 5, shall we? Where a couple
We
of
shall.
teenagers go into a creepy old house full of plague masks. No, this is definitely something I
Great
would have done as a
brewery in
teenager.
Dripping Springs near family business called
Oh,
Acapon Brewing, and it's covered in plague masks.
that's kind of
And
cool.
they do a
I'm
lot of
into
cask
that
ale.
vibe. Ooh. One kid gets killed by a ghost as the other runs away. The boys leave Jack at home this time and go to take the case on their own. All right. Mom and dad need a little date night. Okay. I can relate. They go to visit the kid who survived. He's drawing plague masks and he's no longer talking. After they leave, the kid wakes up from a nightmare and sees the evil ghost in his room. That's just,
It
sleep
happens.
paralysis demon, man. So it is. Sam is being weirdly nice and suggests going to the local strip club. The Clam Diver, it's called, actually, because he knows Dean is in a dark place. The next morning, Dean snoring on the
And he
floor with
wants to
a
get
bra
into a
around his
darker
neck.
place.
So Sam takes off on his own and questions one of the friends of the boys. Sam learned that the doctor that lived in the house would lobotomize and experiment on his patients. He was then tried and executed. Yeah, just didn't get a good Yelp review, that guy, I'm telling you. The mom calls the boys because her son disappeared. They go to the house looking for him. They then see the ghost and burn the plague masks, which gets rid of him. As they look for the kid, they get attacked by the victims of the evil doctor. So Dean tells Sam to kill him so he can ask the ghosts where the bodies are so that they can release their spirits. Dean's always the one trying to die, okay? He's always first in
He's
line to
got his
be
death wish.
kill me, put me to sleep, bring me back, blah, blah, blah. If maybe you don't bring
He
me
doesn't
back, who
even want to
cares?
be brought back in this.
I know. So
Billy
Dean
calls him
stabs,
out.
that's true. Dean stabs a needle into his heart, to which Dean dies, and the Reaper
He's
shows.
just
And when
carrying
she
it
realizes
around.
Dean, she's actually concerned. Okay, Billy, if Billy's concerned, things are kind of crazy. Just saying.
I love when the first Reaper shows up and she's like, "Hi, I'm here to take you to your next life." And he's like, "Yeah, great. I don't have time for this." And she's like when she realizes who it is, she's like, "Oh shit."
I know. Their reputation precedes them. Now, she tells everybody, goes to tell everybody that Dean Winchester is in the Vale. While there, he sees the child who is dead. The ghost possessed him and killed him with the drill. That was dark. As Dean tries to find the bodies, Billy shows up as she is now Death. And the first Reaper to die after Death turns into Death, as we comes to find out. Death says she knows Dean is slipping between worlds. She wants to know how. So he then tells her to free the ghosts and he'll talk. She does, so he also talks. He's a man of his word, okay? Billy senses that Dean wants to die, but then tells him there are many different ways that he may die, but none say that he dies today. She then explains as Death. She now sees the bigger picture, and Sam and Dean have work to do, and boom, Dean's alive again. She shows like all the bookcases, right? Like these are like
Yeah.
possible your ending essentially, which I
Do
thought
you
was
think there's
pretty interesting.
rebar in any of them? Stupid ass ending.
Oh my god, no,
Look, this one says you die of a heart attack, which means he would have like at least like died of natural causes.
listen, the man should have died face deep in some pie at a strip club. Now, pie can
At
be.
the clam diver.
Yes. I don't know that I'd go to a strip club called the Clam Diver, though. That sounds like where you probably actually die for real because you hit yourself on like a dirty needle. Just saying.
Uh,
Doesn't sound clean, man. But anyways, Dean catches Sam up on Billy, telling him he just doesn't know if he still believes in that he just needs a win, man. He needs a dub, okay? As I punch my microphone. They
he
drive
blames
home.
himself for this kid dying.
Yeah, so Dean gets a call. Castiel's back. There's his dub. Castiel, the grand return. It's like Gandalf, who was Gandalf the Grey. He dies at the hands of a Balrog, and he shows up, and boom, there he is, Gandalf the White. That's what Castiel is at this moment. Boom, there I am, Castiel the White.
So, anyways, fun facts. Thanatology is the study of human death, named after
Thanos.
Thanatos,
You're right.
one of the Greek gods and the personification of death. In Greek mythology, similar to the Grim Reaper. It investigates the circumstances of a human's death, how the deceased loved ones deal and cope with the grief and the different attitudes. So you can see Dean is still dealing with the death of definitely Cass, somewhat Crowley, and a little bit his mom, because he's assuming she's dead too. I don't think he's that sad about it though, but that's just my personal opinion. So that is what that is, and of course, Thanos was named after this god. So the staircase scene in the same house is the same house as Oliver Queen's house in the X Mansion. And we were talking about something else recently. I don't remember what it was, and that
Oh,
was
right.
also filmed in that
We
house.
were. Oh, what was
Was
it?
it Peacemaker? No,
No,
might
it
have
was
been
Billy
Peacemaker.
Madison.
Oh, it was Billy
It
Madison.
was
That's
Billy
right.
Madison. That's right.
Look at that. It's all connected. The plague masks we see in this were used during the bubonic plague. Well, maybe not the actual ones, but that style. They could have been, I don't know. Or the Black Death. The design was actually, I actually didn't know this, and it makes so much more sense. The design was so that they could put herbs and flowers into it. So they were smelling things that smelled good and not just death. They also thought back in
Oh,
the 14th
interesting.
century that you could get diseases by smelling them. So obviously that part wasn't completely
Thank
accurate,
God
but
for modern science, am I right?
yeah, we should keep that around. It's useful.
Yeah, like, I mean, at this point, we're rolling back to the 14th century with the way our medicine's getting ready to go. Geez, we're cutting vaccines and stuff. So, hey, anything goes these days.
Yeah. So
This
if you
episode's
still have
creepy,
your
man.
COVID
I'm gonna be real.
masks,
Like, the plague doctors themselves come off as creepy. They're not the creepy part, but the fact that these kids, it's about murdering kids. So this episode was naturally creepy, taking place in this house. But at the same time, I really liked the tonal like shift with Billy, because every time she comes, she talks crap to Dean, essentially saying how much
she's
she
like, I
shows
can't
up.
wait
I
to
hate
reap
you.
you.
I hate
Yeah.
you. And then she gets the chance and she essentially is, nah, this ain't right.
She's like, I
I
get
got,
it. It's like when
she's got
you,
that post nut clarity going.
right. It's when you finally get like elected to a higher office and you're like, oh shit, I can't do anything I promised. I didn't know all
Yeah.
this
I made a
beforehand.
lot of promises and
None
can't
of
do any
them
of
are
this.
happening.
So read this book. Check out this book. Don't read the book, actually. I don't want you to know, but these are all these books.
Yeah.
There you are. And
I
I thought that
thought
was
what
cool.
they did great too. Like you're saying, like it was really sad episode with the kid dying. And like when you hear the mom, that's always the most heartbreaking in movies and
Oh,
TV
it's the
shows.
parent. Yeah.
When you hear the mom or the parent, just like the scream of them carrying
The
her. Like
gutturalness. Oh, dude.
I've seen this a million times, and I'm watching these on fast forward to recap
Yeah.
these to have prep everything, and I got teary eyed, like just hearing her just scream.
100%. Dude. Oh, man. Well, this
Now we're
is your
about to have
favorite
some
episode.
fun.
Yeah.
One
Hole in the
of,
Tombstone.
I think it's a great one. So they're in Dodge City. Dean and a cowboy are in a graveyard. The cowboy gets pulled underground.
Oh,
So
yeah.
then splash supernatural. Now we go back to before that. Oh, that was
Very
pretty
well.
good.
Hey,
That
thank you.
sounded good.
I should be a
Dean
voice
and
actor. You're right.
yeah, that actually came from his vocal cords. That was not a sound. So it was a sound, but it wasn't a pre-made sound. Dean and Sam go to pick up Castiel. He tells them he annoyed an ancient cosmic being so much that the cosmic being sent him back. They don't even test him. Dean just hugs him, and then Sam hugs him. They're just like, okay, we
I
believe
do
you.
love that's what makes it funny about their relationship, because they don't even question it. They're essentially, yeah, no, that tracks. That makes sense.
He's like, how long have I been gone? And Dean's just like, too damn long. Like you couldn't tell him, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what you've been gone for like a month, maybe. I don't know. He's like, too damn long. So okay, so they don't test him, they hug him, big hugs, everybody's happy. As they try to figure out how he got out, Sam says Jack. So they go back to the bunker. Jack gets to meet Cass. And Jack found a case all on his own. Good for him. Jack thinks
Good
the
for
dead
you.
are rising. He's still looking for zombies. Dean hears Dodge City, Kansas, and says he's in. Because they should check it out. Two salty hunters, one half angel kid, and a dude who just came back from the dead again. Team Free Will 2.0. Here we go. Because remember, Team
Yeah.
Free Will, the first one was like an ex demon or blood junkie, like a newly
Yeah.
raised from the, yeah, something like that. So, or
I
an
like this team.
angel. Yeah.
This is like the new Avengers.
It's, it's the Avengers with the asterisk or whatever. Yeah. All right, so Dean is very happy, surrounded by cowboy pictures. Then, as the boys sleep, Jack and Cass talk about Kelly and they research the case. Jack learns a cop died and goes to wake up Dean while Cass tries to stop him because he's an angry sleeper. Dean pulls a gun on him and asks for coffee. I love that. Ha! As Dean and Cass go one way, Jack and Sam go the other. Dean tells Cass to act like he's from Tombstone. And he's like, yeah, the movie. I
Oh,
made you
I
watch it.
love this. Yes.
I'm your Huckleberry. And like Cass is annoyed with Dean at this
I
scene, and
know.
it's
He just came
fantastic.
back to life, and it's just, really, dude? Why did he come back for this?
Like, yes, I remember this movie, Dean. And then Dean's annoyed by Cass not being excited. And then he's just like, it's really good to have you back.
I know. Yeah.
So Cass, then they go to meet the cop, and he's like, I'm Kilmer, Val Kilmer.
Oh, man.
The cop on scene knew the cop that died since he was born. So he is not happy. The cop tells Dean when they catch him, there won't be much to bring back to Texas because he assumes they're Texas Rangers, and Dean's very happy about that.
Yes. Well, fun fact, wasn't Sam, he played Walker, Texas Ranger, in that brief
Yeah.
reboot, right? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they go, I think the episode is Frontierland. It's
Yeah.
like one of them's Clint Eastwood and one of them's and Sam's Walker, Texas Ranger. Was Dean Clint Eastwood, or am I thinking of Back to the Future 3, or am I thinking of both? I might be thinking of
Might
both.
be both. Yeah.
Okay, so Sam and Jack go to the funeral home where the grave robbery happened that led to all of this. And then they go to the grave that was robbed and they see a chewed on human I put brain, but I feel like it was a pelvis. Bone. I put bone and it auto corrected to brain. That makes more sense. And they assume it's a
Ah,
ghoul. They
ah.
figure out it's Dave Mather, who is an actual cowboy from Dodge City in real life. He was in the Dodge City gang in the 1800s, and he's dating the Undertaker, who just got into school in LA, and she is
Did he
adorable.
get thrown off the top of a Hell in a Cell? He's dating the Undertaker. Only real people. You might
I
not
was
know what that is.
so confused. It's a wrestling thing.
Yeah. See, there you go. He got thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell in 1998.
I didn't know that. I just knew the Undertaker was a wrestling thing. You know, there's a wrestling
How do you
house at
forget? Yeah.
Horror Nights this year.
Really
Yeah, I don't
interesting.
know. If the line's short, I'll check it out.
I've been seeing a
But
lot of videos with like the Art the Clown stuff and things like that.
the not thriller. Yeah, he's like going around on a bicycle. Tabby's very
Yeah,
concerned
I've
about
seen a.
it.
Well, you can put a "Don't Scare" thing on. I
She's gonna
think.
get a don't scare necklace, I think.
Come on, Tabby.
We've never seen it.
Boo.
Terrifier. Brielle and I are gonna watch it this weekend.
Oh, okay. Here's the
All right.
thing.
What?
Don't.
I heard they're not
I'll,
good and they're slow.
we'll talk after because I don't. We're in the middle of Supernatural. I'll tell you about Terrifier afterwards.
All right. So, all right, we're the Undertaker. So he's dating the Undertaker, not to be confused with the Undertaker from wrestling. This is somebody who is an actual Undertaker in this show who
Oh
just got into school in LA,
man,
but the guy doesn't want her to go. He's like, we got a good thing going here, man. You don't have money for that. Jack remembers then seeing this guy's picture when they visited the funeral home. So they go to talk to her again, and they say they need to talk to her boyfriend about a murder. She tells them that he went to the bank. What she didn't know was that he was robbing the bank. They go to stop him. A shootout starts, and Jack goes to stop the shootout, but ends up getting a security guard killed after he hits his head really bad. And apparently, he must have said yes to the Reaper before Cass was able to save him. That's my best guess because he's like, save him, Cass, save him. And I'm like, why can't he? But it must have been like, here's the Reaper, you're gone. That is my personal theory on why Cass can sometimes bring people back and can't.
that is interesting. That's a good theory.
It's like Ghost Dad, like, just go back into your body. I would love to show my kids that movie, but it's Bill Cosby, so I'm like,
Oh yeah,
all
that's
right.
why I wouldn't go to the wrestling house probably because I'm not on I can't watch wrestling right now out of moral beliefs.
Oh, good one. One less house I have to worry about. All
Yeah,
right,
there you go.
Cass asks if this is the first time he's hurt someone. Sam says no, but it is the first time someone hasn't gotten back on their feet. Dean tells Cass to take Jack home, and Sam goes with them. Dean sticks around and goes back to the funeral home. The local cop and him figure out it was Dave, and they team up. That's, of course, the two that we saw at the beginning of this episode. They're both there to not take him alive. I love when they both come to that, like, yeah, I'm not taking him alive either. Good, great, let's go. So Dean tells the cop to aim for the head. Now we're back to the beginning. Dean crawls into the ground where the cowboy cop had been sucked under. Because at the beginning, he just looks like a cowboy. Dean crawls down there. He ends up in the dead body prep room and finds the girlfriend / Undertaker, who's tied up, and finds the cop. Again, Undertaker, not to be confused with wrestling.
She did not get thrown off the top of the cell.
Nope. But she did get tied up. Dave is ready with a gun. The cop gets a shot off and
That's what we call a
kills
graveyard
Dave.
match.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. So Dean tells the cop he was never there and that Dave killed the security guard as well. Dean goes home. Jack asks if the guy had a family, and Dean tells him, yeah, he did. The boys try to make Jack feel better. Even Dean tries to make him feel better. But Jack says, no, I'm a monster. Dean actually tells him he's not and explains that they've all done bad. But Jack thinks if he stays, he'll eventually hurt them, and he can't do that. So Jack tries to leave, but not before accidentally throwing everybody against the wall.
Which is
Another great outtake,
on
actually.
accident.
Because in the outtake, he Jack has to act like he's doing something, and then you see them all like fake get thrown back, and they like roll dramatically on the floor. Their outtakes are worth watching.
Fun facts: Dean, Cass, Sam, and Jack use Russell, Kilmer, Elliot, and Paxton, respectively. Come on, if you haven't seen Tombstone, you got to watch Tombstone. While Dean is crawling through the tunnels underneath the graveyard, he paraphrases John McClane's line while crawling through the air vents in Die Hard. Sure, come to Dodge City. We'll have some laughs.
Have
a few drinks. Sure,
come to Dodge City. We'll have some laughs.
True. He also says this in LA and Hollywood Babylon back in season 2. Dave Mather was a real person born in Deep River, Connecticut on August 10th, 1851, who went by the nickname Mysterious Dave due to his tendency to be erratic and unpredictable. Now, his talent for slipping past the law and easily disappearing, Mather was a famous gunfighter, lawman, and occasional criminal, okay? Occasional.
It's good to keep him on, retainer so he can always have a little bite of Dave.
That's true. I absolutely adore anything Tombstone. You have to watch the movie, and I loved the homages that they did in this. And poor Jack. Jack, Dean's finally coming around, and then Jack's, it's every relationship back in the day. You're at high school, or you got a crush on a girl. Then she says, "No, I don't like you," but then you say, "Okay, I'm gonna move on," and then all of a sudden she decides she likes you again, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing with my brain? Why do I have an accent? I don't know.
I don't either. But yeah, this is episode 6. So for freaking 5 straight episodes, we got gloomy
We've had 5 hours of
Gus.
Dean telling Jack what a piece of trash he is, but now all of a sudden Cass is back. He's like, I think I like being a dad. And he's like,
He's
what
like,
the hell,
let's put on our
man?
suits, let's get a steak dinner, and then let's
I'm
go. Yeah,
saying, okay,
see
like,
Dodge
what?
City. But it's kind of
Okay,
nice to see that because we haven't gotten funny.
it
We've gotten
is,
funny
but
Dean a little bit, but we've gotten like depressed, angry, funny Dean. We haven't
yeah, for
gotten
5
lighthearted Dean.
hours.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's just happy-go-lucky, and Jack's supposed to be okay with this? No, dude, you told me you were going to kill me. I'm
Well,
not
and
okay
Sam's
with
even
this.
like, "What the hell, dude?" And he's like, "I wanted a big win. We got Cass back. That's a pretty big win." I feel like Sam's more obsessed with when you saw that in the episode before. Sam's more concerned with getting mom back. Dean feels like she's dead,
Yeah,
and then Sam's issue was
if I'm
you had a relationship with mom. I never did. So I feel like
again, Sam's
Sam
making a lot of sense.
he is because but Dean I feel like dealt with more of he was more angry at his mom.
Fair, because he had that relationship with her and she was a piece of trash, and Sam was
Yes.
young and naive. Okay,
Well, and
he's naive.
Sam didn't remember her at all because she died when he was 6 months old. Whereas Dean, think of how many memories you have. Some like I remember when my brother was born. I was 2. Like I remember that. So like Dean at least has some memories of her. Like you can remember because he was almost 5 when she died. So like
Yeah,
his memories obviously are going to be very far and few between and be more so like feelings than actual memories. But he at least has those. Sam never had that. And then she comes back, and Dean was the only one that really felt like she was their
true.
mom. And so he's mourning a relationship he never had. And now he thinks he'll
Well,
never get the chance. And
it's
I think
it
Dean was
really
kind
be
of
like
like, you know what? She was being not the greatest mom. And then she went out. I think he's happy. I think he got a little bit of closure with her going out saving them. That's, I think.
I agree.
What do I know?
I can go out that. Let's wrap it up here with War of the Worlds, which is episode 7. No, not the Tom Cruise movie, and no, absolutely not the Ice Cube movie. But this one is where Lucifer is
Is that
locked
like
up on
rated
Apocalypse
half a
World.
star on Prime or something?
Very generous. The boys are looking for Jack. Castiel goes to talk to somebody, which Dean finds a case about witches. Ooh, and Asmodeus continues to search for Jack. Yes, knock off KFC. Now, the boys are on this case and see Ketch on his surveillance camera. They meet up with a witch, as that's what Ketch is also hunting, and she has cuts all over her chest from him.
They're
She was able to escape. Turns out
gruesome.
Ketch is looking for Rowena. Interesting. She confirms it's Ketch. They use her as bait and end up catching him. Haha.
I wrote catch a
They
lot. Take a sip
you did.
every time we say
They
catch.
take him back to the bunker and ask why he's not dead. He then tells them that he is his twin brother. He claims to be
Oh,
Alexander
you
Ketch,
must be
not Arthur
confusing me with my
Ketch.
brother. That's what you just now
He
say. Like, come on. If somebody's saying, like, oh, you did this, like, wouldn't that be your immediate thing? Like, no, I have a twin brother. Like, that took you a while. All right.
He then claims that he left the Men of Letters, and if they found him, he'd be dead. He also claims that he's just hunting witches, man.
That's what
Oi,
we
I'm just
do.
hunting witches, man.
Witches are
There
the
is a
bad guys.
paperwork backing his claim up. Dean's not buying it.
I
Dean's a
love
little
that Dean
smarter than
doesn't
that.
buy it for a second. He does not buy
Nope.
it for a single
Nope.
second.
Castiel goes to another angel named Duma. They said that they don't have Jack, but if they did, they would use him to create more angels since they lost so many during the fall. She basically says that she will enslave Jack as Castiel fights Duma and a couple of other angels. Lucifer, boo, hello, and the other angels go, I'm out of here. On Apocalypse World, we meet there Kevin Tran. Ah, poor Kevin. He's working on trying to open a rift up so that they can go to a not destroyed world. They need Archangel Grace, so Michael takes Lucifer's. The rift opens for only a second, and that's when Lucifer jumps right through.
So
Back on
that's how
Earth,
he was
he
able
is
to save Cass.
yes, he is powerless, and he looks pretty homeless. And this is my favorite version of Lucifer because he's unhinged. He goes to the gates to heaven where the angels just flee. Castiel asks, "Why are you on this world?" And Lucifer asks why he's even alive.
He's like, why are you
Lucifer tells up
alive? He's like, I don't know.
Castiel. He says Michael's coming. Michael? Not Michael Myers, but kind of a version of that. He tells
A-Train's
Castiel
brother.
them and Jack cannot fight Michael. Lucifer then realizes that Castiel doesn't know where Jack. Castiel don't know Jack because he doesn't know where Jack is.
You don't even know
Asmodeus,
where my
meanwhile, is
son
torturing the poor hotel clerk from Dodge City. This poor kid knows nothing, man, to which they then kill him. So knockoff KFC senses that Lucifer is back. Dean then gets a call from the Dodge City Motel saying an evil Colonel Sanders was asking about Jack. They then call Castiel, who sounds weird because of Lucifer. So they lock up Ketch, follow Cass's phone. Lucifer and Cass are at the bar talking about Jack. They're having a couple of drinks, man. They're just bros, just broing out,
Bros
talking
catching
about their
up.
son. That's right. They're just two dads talking about their son. Now they lock up Ketch. They go there. They talk about Jack, and in walks evil Colonel Sanders, who senses Lucifer's powers. Gasp! Lucifer's powers are actually weak. I'm sorry. And he attacks them both. By the time the boys get there, it's just random angels that attack. Ketch then shows up and helps them out. He got out of the chains and followed them there. Dean pulls his gun out, calls him
because
Arthur.
he had a freaking he had a lock thingy in his ass. He goes, "You didn't do the proper cavity search."
Oh my God. Yes, he comes clean, says he's alive because of Rowena. She had been captured by the Men of Letters, had a spell in her to keep her alive, which we've seen her use. He let her go in exchange for that spell, so he was looking for her to do the spell again. They say that she's dead now. Ketch takes off as Dean shoots him. We end this with Dean calling Castiel and Asmodeus fake Cass voice. I'm sorry. We end this with Dean calling Cass. Asmodeus fakes Castiel's voice and answers. He's got Cass and Lucifer all locked up, won't let them out, and Ketch is working now for evil Colonel Sanders because he's just such a.
But do you think he always has a lock pick up his ass, or he just knew that he was going to get captured?
Well, he certainly acts like
just
he
in
does.
Case, I'll shove it up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like when he tells them they didn't do the property cavity search, and they're just like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's nasty. Gross.
All right. Fun facts. This one is directed by Richard Speight Jr., a.k.a. Gabriel. The title is a nod, of course, to the H.G. Wells novel, War of the Worlds, about an alien invasion. Also, Tom Cruise movie. After Lucifer meets Castiel, they actually go to Nick's bar. Nick is the name of Lucifer's vessel. However, Old Nick is actually a colloquialism. I actually looked that up because I found that interesting. So Old Nick actually refers to the devil in Christianity. And my first thought was Old Saint Nick. And so I feel like there's got to be a play on that somewhere. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I double checked that fun fact.
Well, I was just saying as a joke, and here it is.
All
right. It's because we're connected. Yeah, I hate that Ketch is back. Number one, I love this version of Lucifer. Number two, because he's powerless and very funny and very just the homeless Lucifer thing. It works for me. All right. It really works.
She's like, honey, you're not Lucifer. My ex-husband's Lucifer.
It's great.
I love it too when there's this part where Lucifer's trying to tell Kevin, like, why are you doing what Michael wants you to do? He's a bad guy. Why? Because Kevin Tran's the one that's trying to do the spell to get, and he's like, aren't you the literal devil?
He's not wrong, but poor Kevin,
he's
man.
Not wrong.
Poor Kevin. Yeah, and that's kind of where we wrap up here. Do you have any final thoughts with our Supernatural recap starting off the first episodes of season 13?
No, I'm good. Go watch Tombstone if you haven't seen it.
Ooh, go watch it. And then next week, we are going to be talking Gen V. And then this coming Wednesday, is it this Wednesday after this comes out or the following week where we're going to do our live Supernatural?
So next week, which means the day after this week, hold on. September. Today, this episode is coming out on September 8th. On September 9th, we will be live on Nerd Initiative doing Supernatural Trivia. And on September 10th, we will be doing a fun Supernatural show. We're not exactly sure yet. We're still planning that out. It's going to be fun.
Promise
it's going to be live. You can participate. You can answer questions. You can add comments. And then the following Monday, the 15th, we will be dropping a Gen V Season 1 recap because Season 2 starts the 17th.
There you go. That's why she writes things down because I don't. But come hang out with us there. Find all of our Supernatural episodes on the playlist and all of the other things. Tell us your favorite moment so far. Make sure to tune in to live. Supernatural's turning 20. Guys, we're no big deal. We're like halfway almost through season 13. Okay, we're finally going places. Okay.
That is crazy when you said that. Like, you're like, oh, she was like, yeah, this show started when I was starting law school.
I know.
And to think, but I didn't get into it until years
And later. To think it took me till post show ending to even get into it.
Hell, I got into it almost 9 years ago. So it's been a minute. And the show still was on a lot longer before.
That's true. Go watch.
This is the first season I watched live. That's exciting.
Whoa, that is exciting. That's a big
'Cause I
moment.
remember looking
Just
forward to
like,
getting Logan down for a nap and watching this the next day.
well, as Lauren reminisces, go like, subscribe, share, follow all of our podcasting platforms, and make sure to tune into our live. And we will catch you guys later. Peace out, Lucifer.